Today I have a special guest, my dad.
Hello.
What was one of your favorite childhood memories? I have a lot. I had a really fun childhood. I think this is like kind of a generic answer. It's not a specific memory, but something that means a lot to me is that
my dad is the coolest person in the world. I love my dad a lot. He's the best. I'll tell you a story about my dad and how he's awesome. I think I've told this story before probably, but whatever.
My family, we didn't have money growing up. Like we just didn't have any money.
Like at all, like nothing. And I never knew.
I didn't care or didn't know. And that's something I appreciate now as an adult.
And like when I did find out we didn't have money, it wasn't like a thing. It wasn't like, we're poor. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, we don't have money, who cares? Like I didn't care. Like it wasn't ever a thing. My parents didn't talk about it in a negative way.
Because I hear friends, like really close friends of mine who didn't have money growing up, and I hear about it. Like they're like, oh, I was so poor. We couldn't afford this. We couldn't afford that because I was so poor. And, I couldn't have, and I was like, I didn't even realize it. Like I was never like, I'm so poor. My parents can't afford me things. Like I never noticed because my parents were just so great at making sure we were appreciative of what we had. And I just didn't know that we didn't have money.
I just didn't know that I was missing out on things. So like, it was never like, well, you can't have that because we don't have money. My dad actually like made sure that we always got to do everything everyone else got to do, even though we didn't have money. So for example, like
we couldn't afford the zoo
because the zoo costs money. But my dad didn't want us to miss out on the experience of like going to a zoo. So he would take us to the pound because the pound was free. And we'd go and we'd look at the dogs and the cats in the cages at the pound.
There's animals, you get to play with them, you get to pet them, you get to see them, and it was free. And so we go to the pound.
And we thought it was great. We got to see animals. We didn't care that it wasn't like tigers. We were excited we got to see animals. He would take us to like a pizza parlor to play with like the arcade games, but we couldn't
didn't have quarters to put in the machine for us to play the games.
He didn't want to spend the money on like the actual arcade games. So he would just like tell us, he'd like act out like what was going on, and we'd be pushing buttons. He'd be like, oh, now turn right, turn right, turn right. Okay, now get him, get him.
He'd be like, you're winning, go. And like he would like make up this imaginary scenario where we're actually playing the game.
And we'd think we were playing, and the screen would be like blinking game over, and we'd be like, we're playing a video game. We didn't even know. And like other things, like we'd go to McDonald's, like we'd want McDonald's, but back in my day, back when I was a youngin', they used to have really cool days at McDonald's where they'd have a hamburger day and a cheeseburger day. And I think it was Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And on Tuesdays, the hamburgers were 29 cents. And on Wednesdays, the cheeseburgers were 39 cents. Corey, do you remember that? No. You don't remember that? And my dad would go on the hamburger day because it was cheaper. It was only 29 cents a burger. And then he'd buy burgers for each of us and he'd drive them home. And then we'd get cheese from our fridge, like our American cheese slices from the fridge, and put them on and melt them in the microwave so we could have cheeseburgers because it was cheaper than getting the 39-cent cheeseburgers on Wednesdays. So we did like, my dad was so creative and did a lot of stuff like that. So I never knew that like we didn't have money because my dad was so creative.
We'd have picnics like in the front yard or the backyard, or we didn't have like camping gear and camping stuff. So we'd camp in the backyard on like lawn chairs. Like my dad would make like a camping site for us, or, like he was really good at making sure we had fun doing like free things. So I was never concerned about the fact that we didn't have money. And my dad and my mom did a really good job making sure we had a really happy, fun childhood. And they played with us all the time. Like my dad, like my best memories of like the games I played as a kid were like with my dad. Like all of our imaginary games, he'd play with us. He was a pirate, or he was a giant, or he was, the bad guy or the good guy or the king or whatever. Like, and he would direct and let us star in our own like movies that we made because we didn't watch TV. We didn't really watch movies.
We'd make our own movies. We'd make our own TV shows with our video camera.
So my dad would help us make our own movies and make our own TV shows and stuff.
And that's why I think I'm like, love this job so much. I love doing YouTube because it's what I grew up doing. Like we didn't watch movies and TV. We watched the videos that we'd make at home. We'd make like full storylines out of with our video cameras at home. So Yeah.
My dad made things fun even though we didn't have money, and that has like inspired me as an adult to like find ways to have fun and be creative and be positive even under unfortunate circumstances. I have a lot of great memories growing up. My parents are really great.
To your dad, how do you feel about Taco Bell?
I love Taco Bell.
He does. He taught me to love Taco Bell. We used to go there all the time as children, and now we go all the time as adults.
Most days in the writer's room, we spend a couple hours just talking about, Christopher and I spend a lot of time just talking about our childhood and our family and whatever. I will say, Miranda's dad is not based on my dad. Like, not even close. My dad is my favorite man on planet Earth. My dad is the most perfect human in the universe. Like, I know that whoever I spend the rest of my life with, like, has to be someone who is just like my father. Like, he's an incredible man. So I have to say that because I say all the time that Haters Back Off is based on my real life, and it is, but Kelly is not based on my dad. My dad's amazing. My dad just texted me and said, no one is perfect but Jesus. Dad, you're perfect to me. So, how was it to have your dad in Vancouver? It was awesome. You guys should look out for him in the show. He's like hidden, so you guys will have to like try to find him. I was like, hey Dad, do you want to come up to Vancouver for a day and do this little thing? And he's like, sure. So I forced him to come up and torture him. That's my dad! Okay, if you pause, sorry. If you pause at like 7:27, 7:28, that's my dad. So we were shooting this scene and my parents were visiting. And I'm paused right now at 7 minutes, 29 seconds. My parents were visiting and we were doing the mattress store scene, and the director, Andrew, was like, we need extras in the mattress store. There can't just be no one in the mattress store. And our first AD was like, well, we didn't hire any extras today. We can't get them this late of notice because this is the last scene we shot. And on that day, he's like, I can't get extras here right now. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And I was like, can my dad be in it? And they're like, no, you know, like, he's not an extra. We have to get an extra. And I was like, but we don't have time to get extras. So why can't we just throw my dad in here? So that's my dad on that mattress store and on that bed. And my dad still talks about it. So he still talks about how he was Hank. He named his character Hank. And Hank was at the mattress store. And they didn't have costumes for him, obviously, because it was so last minute. They literally threw him in the scene. But he was wearing shoes that had the Nike symbol on them. So they had to put black duct tape over the Nike symbol because we can't show Nike because it's a brand and like we didn't have approval. So he's still, it is a year later, he's still a year and a half since we shot this. He still has those shoes and they still have the tape on them. He won't take the tape off. And I think it's the cutest thing. So anyway, my dad still talks about that all the time. And he actually said that he wanted to be here for the live stream of episode 7 because he was the star of the episode. And Hank is the reason this episode is any good. How did your dad feel when you told him to be on the show? He was excited. We needed someone to be in a coma. And we were gonna just like hire an extra, and I was like, you know what, like my dad would love to be in the show. And someone had said to me, and I don't remember who it was, maybe it was Christopher, I don't remember, but someone said, how funny if every season you just always have your dad in a scene where he has to lay on a mattress. Because season 1, my dad was in the mattress store laying on a mattress. And then in season 2, he's in a coma laying on a mattress. So in every season, if we just find a place for my dad to be lying down on a mattress. And so that's kind of, we just said it as a joke. And then I was like, well, actually it'd be kind of funny. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, could you take a day off work and fly up to Canada? And he was like, are you kidding? Yes. So he flew up and he laid in that bed all day. I have really cute pictures of him like in the bed, like in the hospital bed. He was so excited. And it was really cool for me to have my dad there because he was the star of the episode. And Hank is the reason this episode is any good. So thank you to my amazing dad. It was really great. My dad's awesome. My parents are so supportive, and I seriously have the best family on planet Earth. So I felt really grateful that he was able to come up and watch me work. And I feel like it doesn't matter who you are. If you have like a father figure or a mother figure in your life, whether it's like biological or not, just someone you admire a lot. Like I admire my parents a lot. And especially like my dad is like, I love my dad. I'm such a daddy's girl. And it was cool to have my dad there that day. There was one scene that he kind of got to watch me kind of direct. Like we have directors for every episode. Like I'm not the director. We had incredible directors who are just amazing. But the scene where the camera like wraps around Patrick and Miranda in the hospital room and my dad's in a coma. I've known how I wanted that scene to look in my head forever. Like I've like known how I wanted it shot. I saw it like the camera swooping around us and going into slow motion, and I knew like there's like a soap opera on TV, and the music from the soap opera, like, and the talking from the soap opera swells right at the right moment, and Miranda just looks beautiful to Patrick because the music from a corny soap opera like is like orchestrating like this moment, and it's a perfect moment. That scene I'm really proud of because like I fought for like that scene to be shot that certain way with like the swooping cameras and like the soap opera going on and the scene back. There's this one shot that I love right when Patrick comes in. It's one shot for a super long time where the camera follows him in, you see me enter, it goes behind my back, follows Patrick, and it turns around and watches him grab the bedpan, it comes over, he puts it on my head, and then it goes in slow motion. It's all one shot. And I'm just super proud of that shot. I was like really excited about it, and like I got to help direct it, which was really cool because I've never done anything like that before. But I'm really grateful for our director for that episode, Steven Tashida, because he let me kind of help direct, and he was just really collaborative, which was really cool, and he taught me a lot. And but anyway, very long story. But my dad was there for that, and so my dad got to kind of see me create the look and the feel and the lights and the camera moves for that scene. And so he was like, that was so cool to get to watch you work. I've never seen you like, talk like that or do anything like that before. So that was cool for me to have my dad be there.
Like, I feel like I've been doing a good job on Haters Back Off and in life, whatever. But to hear my dad say that, like, he's proud of me is, like, the best feeling in the world. So it was really nice for me to have him up here because I was starting to get stressed and sad and, like, freaked out. And to have my dad come up and say, like, I'm really proud of you. You're doing such a good job. I was like, oh, I needed that. So it was really cool to have my dad come up and hear his opinion on everything. And, he's just so sweet.
Can your dad do his best Miranda face?
No, I can't.
Yes, you have to! Do it! You have to do
This
it.
one goes.
My dad is my favorite man on planet Earth. My dad is the most perfect human in the universe.
No, I am not.
My dad just texted me and said, no one is perfect but Jesus. Dad, you're perfect to me, so.